Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on our podcast today with the Sci-ROI team. Today, we have Dr. Debarshini Chakraborty, who's the team lead communications at CCAM, Center for Cellular and Molecular Platforms in Bangalore. So let us get started. Dr. Devashini, thanks for agreeing to be a guest on our podcast. Can you give us a brief intro about yourself first, your background, and your current role at CCAM, please?
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks so much for having me on this podcast. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect with the Indian research diaspora across the US and Europe, and I am very happy to be here. I so my background is actually a little diverse. Even though I am the communications lead at CCAMP since the last 5 years, I actually have a background in theoretical soft condensed matter physics from PhD. So I finished my PhD from IISC. I was guided by Professor Chandan Dasgupta in the physics department. I finished my PhD in 2011. Post that, I did a couple of postdocs. I was in Institut Curie in Paris for a year, then in NCBS as a postdoc for a year. And post that, I kind of branched out from academic research and started exploring roles in science, communication, scientific administration, science policy, and so on and so forth. So before CCAMP, I have been in the Center Department of Science and Technology in the French Embassy in New Delhi, and also I was at the Raman Research Institute as the executive assistant to the director for 3 years. So that's my background in short. And in CCAMP, what I do is I help in creating the public face of what CCAM means as an organization. So CCAMP is a very public facing organization. It has to be, because if you are an enabler organization in an ecosystem of science, research, and innovation, you need to connect all the time with researchers, with research organizations, with stakeholders like government funding organizations, philanthropies, external international funding organizations, startups, and so on and so forth. So it has to be very public facing, and I think along with a very talented team at CCAMP, I am attempting to make or create a very authentic and public face of CCAMP that has something to address every stakeholder in the ecosystem.
Great intro. You have already kind of lead me into the next question that I have. So, can you tell us about CCAM's objectives and missions? Like, what are CCAM's goals for the next future?
CCAMP, or Center for Cellular and Molecular Platforms, was set up in 2010 with support from the Department of Biotechnology. It was a concept that was led by visionaries in Indian biotech, Professor Vijay Raghavan, Dr. M.K. Bhatt, um, and the others like him, Professor Satyajit Mayer in NCBS. The SLEAM, of course, was a part of the initiative. And so when it was set up, it was mandated to be an enabler organization that will take uh, the equation of infrastructural silos away from Indian research. So NCBS, InSTEM, CCAMP, the Bangalore Life Sciences Cluster, as we call it, houses one of India's top in terms of scientific infrastructure and scientific technologies on campus. But we all know that if you are from a university, a small university organization somewhere in the middle of India where we're not really very connected, you do not have the same kind of opportunities infrastructure wise to pursue your research goals. So a very deep infrastructural silo exists in the Indian research ecosystem, and CCAM was first envisioned in order to break those silos, to make these campuses huge resources, scientific resources available to anybody and everybody from any scientific affiliation. And not only just scientific research affiliation, it is right now addressing researchers from industry, researchers from startups. So in a way, it is connected to 450 organizations across India at the moment. That particular aspect of our work, and we have helped publish more than 250 papers where our technology platforms have supported directly that work. And that was our main goal, as in breaking infrastructural silos in Indian research. That is how it was set up. But then 2012, 2013 onwards, what happened is that there was a push in the government level in biotech to look at innovations and innovation, science led entrepreneurships in the biotech sector. And CCAM then came into its own as a bio incubator come bio innovation hub. So we started supporting, with government support itself, we started supporting early stage innovators and startups who have very risky ideas. When I say risky ideas, in the sense is that I'm speaking to a research community, so I don't have to explain it, but an idea that you have today and you are working towards, let's say 5 years later, you might have null result in that. So as a researcher, we know that even null results are important, but it is not so important when you are, when you have funding for developing a product. So your funder will not be very happy if you say, okay, this method will not work. So but we needed support for this sort of early stage innovations, because these are deep science led innovations which have a risk of failure. And this is not where typical investor bodies or VCs or banks are interested in funding this kind of research. So, CCAM played a very important role in catalyzing such early stage innovations. So we have invested in them. We have funded such startups. We have funded altogether 350 startups in India, and we have provided them incubation space. So we have more than 44,000 square feet of incubation, dedicated plug and play incubation facilities, which are offered to early stage innovators with no lab space. And it is completely plug and play, offered at very nominal rates, because it is a not-for-profit organization. So you come here with your experimental idea, you have the funding, you have the technology platforms you need, plus also because CCAMP is located in this campus of the Bangalore Life Science Cluster, which, as we speak, is one of India's top such biosciences research and innovation clusters in India. So, and it is with world reputation. It is world class and established globally. So to have starting off, you have funding, you have a plug and play incubation facility, you have all these access to this really wonderful campus, and the academic strength that you need, that you have automatically in such a campus, along with the technology platforms that are there on such campuses. So you basically tick off every box in the list for an early stage deep science idea to build. So that was our second such mandate that we had, which is to catalyze deep science led innovations which are risky but maybe high gain if productive. And so that was our second major objective, and we are still very deeply engaged in this process. I can tell you, we had, as I said, 350 plus startups. We have funded, incubated, mentored, accelerated. Even when I say acceleration, I mean to say, okay, your product may be ready, you have a prototype ready, but you don't know how to take it to the market. So as we all know, I mean, it does not really end at the prototype, it has to still reach the society. So that is where we play a role in that as well. And this particular vertical, we have right now started saying that we are taking science to society. The first one was about democratizing science in a way, and the second one is to take science to society through scientific innovation. And the third mandate that we have currently, that is also plays a very important role. As you all know, as researchers, that you may have published an exciting discovery in your lab, and you believe that it has commercial potential or societal impact potential, but industry is not really very conducive to your method or your technology per se, and you know that it will create impact, but you don't know how to take it to that scale. So CCAMP is also filling a role there, filling up a gap there, where we are providing the translational science support that you need to de-risk a technology, validate and scale up a technology such that it is acceptable for industry. So from a discovery that is in the lab, it is right now a product that is ready for industry uptake. And also we provide licensing support with our Office of Technology Transfer. So we have two programs in this particular objective, which is research translation and commercialization. And there are two programs under this particular objective, the Office of Technology Transfer and the Discovery to Innovation Accelerator. And with both of these, what our aim is to take exciting academic discoveries and make them available in the market. So altogether, these are the three major objectives of CCAM, and our goal is to, in one line, is to foster deep science research and innovation for societal impact.
That was a very informative answer for CCAM's goals and objectives. Thanks a lot, first of all. So, could you throw some light on what kind of funding opportunities exist for innovators and entrepreneurs in STEM fields
Mm.
at CCAMP
Mm.
at maybe different stages? So, like you mentioned, from ideation and also like at the stages of say prototype being taken to the market and that level.
Mm.
So, could you give us some more information about what kind of funding opportunities that CCAMP itself provides?
Yeah, so as I already said, you are very right, Rohit, that we have funding at the ideation stage. So we have the now well-established biotechnology ignition grant with BIDAC. So CCAMP has been a partner of BIDAC in this big grant since its inception in 2012. And we have a cohort of more than 200 startups that we have funded, startups or early stage innovators that were funded through big grant itself. Big grant, as you may all already know, is a complete grant in aid program of 50 lakhs. And so that is the biotechnology ignition grant. But given we are running multiple other such programs, like for example, there is one running right now. It's called Nidhi Prayas, which is a program in collaboration with Department of Science and Technology, or DST, and that is for even pre-idea, you could say, definitely pre-post proof of concept. So that is a grant in need again of 10 lakhs, and it accepts, so CCAMP will accept you as a part of the ecosystem. You will again have all of it, the incubation facility, you will have the mentorship, you will have the acceleration facility, so on and so forth. So the Nidhi Prayas grant is running as we speak. It is on the CCAMP website. Then you have funding programs like the social innovation immersion program. That program, also run with BIDAC, is a very interesting program in the sense that it actually helps innovators identify problem statements on the ground, uh, with a fellowship. So you go and have immersive experiences on the field, in various fields. Like we have SIIP, have run SIIP programs in geriatrics and in food and nutrition. And so we have these innovators under these programs who have gone on the field and had an immersive experience of 6 months or so, where they have identified problem statements. Those problem statements have been pitched to the funding organization, which is BIRAC, and then out of those, maybe two or three have been selected, and then they have been supported for further, um, for taking it beyond the problem statement to actually innovating. So that is also a running program. So apart from early stage funding, CCAMP also is involved in funding. Seed funding with organizations such as BIDAC, Atal Innovation Mission, and also TST Nidhi. So in these seed funds, we have something. We are funding up to 1 crore also, which is investment funding, in terms of beyond POC. And seed funds are based for that, that you have already proved proof of concept and you are at at the juncture of taking it to market. So there are definitely seed funds that are available. We also have certain funds which are available in focus areas. Like for example, agriculture is a major area of interest for CCAMP at the moment, and we have dedicated grand challenges agriculture program that runs every year. It is going to open very shortly, and with any the previous grand challenges, agriculture had problem statements like coffee border, the stem border infestation. If you really follow that particular topic, you will see that it has got less to do with agriculture, might also be to do with organism behavior, ecology. Uh, so very different kind of solutions that you have, which are very problem oriented. So the agricultural grand challenge is a program that we run in collaboration with the government of Karnataka. So it is completely funded, and again, the funding is up to 1 crore, in terms of, because it is no longer at proof of concept, we are taking it beyond proof of concept. And so that is one kind of funding that we definitely have beyond ideation. Then we also have a partnership with a Japanese venture capital firm called Beyond Next Ventures. And with that, again, we have funding of up to 1 crore in investment funding for all kinds of innovations in life sciences. So, and life sciences, I should also stress here that CCAM works in all domains, from healthcare and agriculture and environment. And healthcare, you can have anything from non-cancer oncology to non-communicable diseases to infectious diseases to antimicrobial resistance to digital health, all kinds of emerging areas that are there. CCAM has portfolio in almost all. And so is the case in agriculture, and so is the case in environment. For example, we have, I'll go in, I'll probably explain that in detail later, that there are certain success stories that I would like to highlight. But overall, three major sectors of life sciences: healthcare, agriculture, and environment. CCAMP has programs in all of them, and funding programs. Obviously, for early idea stage, there is a certain level of funding, but we have beyond the idea stage funding of up to 1 crore or more than that. The Japanese VC firm funding that I spoke about is up to 2.5 crores. There are VC funds available also. Like for example, I'm breaking it here. Uh, we have a center of excellence coming up in synthetic biology with a VC fund called Omnivore, soon, and under that also funding beyond idea stage would be available in synthetic biology.
Great information once again. I just a quick question though. So like since most of our audience is actually outside of India, I wanted to just check if these funding opportunities are available for people from outside India who are planning to return to India also, or like would these be available once people are back in India, like if once they are in India?
Yeah, so that is a very interesting and relevant question. As you can imagine, most of these funds are for from the government. for the government of India, it really does not attract enough capital unless you are based in India itself. So, but what you can definitely do is you can start checking out all of these opportunities that are there and prepare in advance, so that by the time you are in India, you are already off the ground. You don't need to spend time in India getting familiar with the ecosystem again and then put in an application. If you already have connects with the ecosystem now, like for example, I believe this platform is a great connect, and you can prepare well in hand beforehand. Okay, I'm interested in so and so scheme, let me read up on it, and this information, all of it that I'm talking about, is available on the internet, on the CCAM website. And you will be able to write to any one of us, and we'll be able to share information with you. So yes, you need to be in India in order to be eligible, but start beforehand. That the preparing beforehand will only help you save time when you are here.
That's great advice. So, I'm very glad to have made this trip to the CCAM campus, because you all have a great, huge, and like also beautiful campus. But like for the people, I would strongly recommend all of our listeners to pay a visit, if possible, to the CCAM campus if they are visiting Bangalore. But for those who cannot make it, could you give us a few, some idea about like what kind of infrastructure facilities does CCAM have?
So infrastructural facilities, as I said once, that we have more than 44,000 square feet of incubation space. As Rohit, you must have seen already, we have 3 floors of plug and play incubation open facilities, which are open labs. So you share bench space with maybe 2 other startups at the same time. So we have facilities like that over 3 floors. This work has been supported by the Department of Biotechnology, is continuing support with BIRAC and the Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog. So that is definitely there. But we have specialized technology platforms that are available, which I'll just tell you a little bit more about. We have 15 such technology platforms available at CCAMP, one of which is the National Cryo-EM facility, which was India's first cryo-EM machine in India, which is here on campus, and you can access it through CCAMP. We have cutting edge facilities like the biologics characterization facility, which you have already spoken about. We have mass spectrometry facilities in metabolomics, glycomics, lipidomics, proteomics. We have very high-end imaging facilities. We have flow cytometry. We have mouse genome and transgenic Drosophila facilities. We have NMR. We have very high-end next generation genomics facility, where we have HiSeq, MySeq, NovaSeq, Sanger. All of these facilities are available. And we have X-ray crystallography. We have image analysis, high throughput screening, imaging. We have all kinds of imaging, electronic microscopy. We have confocal imaging. We have cryo imaging, as I said, and image analysis, so on and so forth. So altogether, you could just say, you can check it all out in www.ccam.res.in/facility. All of this is available open in the open domain. But I would just say that currently, if you tell me what are the facilities that CCAM would definitely like to project, one is the genomics facility that I mentioned. The other one would be the biologics and mass spectrometry facility, and the third one would be the cryo-EM facility. So these three are our topmost facilities at the moment, and also our most frequently accessed facilities. Also, as you can already make out, those are the high-end ones which people generally don't have access to. So, and another good thing about our facilities, which always strikes me as an ex-researcher, is that you don't really need to come here with a specific question and this is the experiment I want, give me the data for that. You can obviously come here for that, but you can also come here with an amorphous question and just an idea that I think this particular facility can help answer this question, but I don't know the exact protocol for that. I need help from the from CGAMP in order to figure out the experimental workflow. And we have not only these cutting edge facilities, but also really experienced academics who are a part of what heading these facilities, who are there in order to frame your experiment for you. So you not only bring your problem, but you get the experimental workflow, the method here, and then you get the data. And in most cases, so far as I know, that your sample is also returned back to you along with your raw data. And all of this is not is it's the rates are very nominal. So we, even because we are not for profit, we offer one rate for researchers, there is one rate for industry, there is another rate for startups. So it's very very nominal. And not only that, the other thing is that we even informally, I'm saying this, we don't even insist on authorship on the paper. So it's completely voluntary. If you feel that we added enough value and you want to name us in your paper, well and good. If you want to just acknowledge our support and move on with it, that's also well and good. If you don't want to acknowledge us, that is also well and good. So as an ex-researcher, I haven't really come across a better environment than this.
Mhm. That's great information once again, Dr. Debarshini. So you did mention that, like, you would want to highlight a little bit more on few of the success stories. So could you give us like, some information about some of the success stories that have come out of campus?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll start with a success story in healthcare that we are extremely proud of at the moment, and which is in the people in that domain. I think are maybe already familiar with that particular startup. It's called Bugworks. And Bugworks was started in CCAMP, incubated and supported with funding and incubation facilities in 2012. And they are developing novel broad spectrum antibiotics for gram negative bacteria, the first one to come out since 1960s. And they are currently more than $10 million in valuation. And they are supported by BARDA, they are supported by Carbex, um, uh, the, the world's largest PPP in antimicrobial resistance innovation funding. They are supported, they are currently in the phase one of clinical trials with their with first in human dose of their antibiotic. They are currently holding the clinical trials in Australia, and phase one results so far have been good, and we are looking at getting a product out in market in the next 1 year's time. Bugworks is definitely a success story, and they are playing not only a major role in the drug discovery aspect, but because, as you know, the market for antibiotics are slightly different. You not only develop a product, but you also find out where the caveats are, where please do not use this antibiotic in so and so context. So they are playing a very important role in global policy shaping also in antibiotic usage. So Bugworks is a very well known. They were also in 2019 chosen by global market analyst CB Insights as the startup to watch out for in healthcare, yeah, in 2019. So that is about Bugworks. Second startup I would quickly like to highlight is a startup called C6 Energy. C6 Energy is a very novel startup. So they create bioplastics, biofuel, biostimulants from seaweed. So they have created a end to end product value chain where they are mass cultivating in mass seaweed, which is actually an artisanal cultivation already in places like in India. It has limited applications in industries like toothpaste and ice cream. There are additives which are added from seaweed, but nobody ever thought of using them as a biomass for biofuel. So C6 basically wants to address the biofuel segment and using ocean farming as their biomass source. The reason is that biomass, to get biofuel of the quantity that India needs as an emerging economy, biomass, you can't divert agricultural land to get biomass. So, and because we have so much of coastline area that is available to us, their solution was to let's look at what can we can grow on the seas and use as biomass. So they are growing red seaweed sustainably and also large scale cultivation. And then they're using that seaweed to produce biocrude and biofuel and bioplastics. And they have started out with biostimulants for the time being. Biostimulants are a type of, they are not exactly biofertilizers, but they can improve crop productivity by optimizing crop health, crop resistance to resistance to pests and viral infections, and also optimizing fertilizer used by the plant. That is C6 energy, and the third one in environment is string bio. String bio also has a very interesting product, as deep science as they get. So they have a proprietary synthetic biology protocol by which they break down methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas, potent greenhouse gas, break down methane gas into alternative protein, single cell protein products. They have started with single cell, so right now they have a product out in market which can improve protein feed, the amount of protein in feed for aquaculture. And they have also started producing biofertilizers at the moment, but they have started out thinking that they will in some day provide alternative protein for human consumption also, which is basically from by harnessing a waste gas like methane. And String Bio is also more than $10 million worth in valuation right now, and one of the world's leading alternative sustainable protein as well as sustainable methane uh, harnessing technologies in green technologies in the world right now. Synthetic bio.
Great. These this was very promising and motivating, I would say, to for any would be innovator in STEM fields right now. So, but so I've been very glad to have interacted with a lot of the team members at CCAM, and like I've noticed that there is also a great scope for non-traditional careers at CCAMP apart from all the innovator and entrepreneurship opportunities. So I would like to end this podcast with this question about so could you tell us about these employment opportunities at CCAMP, where these might not be the necessarily the traditional academic positions, but some other different kind of positions.
Absolutely. I am myself a prime example for it. As I said in the very first question you asked, Rohit, I don't even come from biology. I'm from a theoretical condensed matter physics background, and I'm now communications lead at CCAMP. So, CCAMP is led by Dr. Taslim Arif Saeed, the director and CEO of CCAMP. He has a neurobiology background himself. He was also a postdoc, and while doing his postdoc, he was exposed to a very vibrant innovation culture in San Francisco, and that is how he started. CCAM started. So his entire ethos is built around, getting science to society, and he has built, handpicked, basically a team that has the same, mindset. And all of my colleagues at CCAMP, let's just say, right from the academic team, like the facility heads that I talked about, to all of the teams who are leading the innovation and entrepreneurship vertical, for example, or the research translation and commercialization vertical, for example. All of them have some academic background, but they have also found support in pursuing roles which are not exactly academic per se. So I think overall the entire team's orientation in a way is all of us have tried to use our academic background in order to take forward the mandate of the organization, which is to help other scientists or innovators create impact in society. And for that, there are roles in our innovation and entrepreneurship vertical where you can take care, for example, of funding programs. I believe very shortly someone from CCAM will be participating in an event with Sci-ROI. My colleague Dr. Nitya, she is also a PhD. She is helping implement the biotechnology ignition grant in CCAM. And I'll quickly end by just exploring where the academic requirement comes in. You are approached by, let's say, 25 innovators, all of whom have come with science led ideas, and you are having to train them on how to present their ideas best when the selection process gets done at BIRAC. If you don't have an academic training at that point of time, it is difficult for you to tell them, okay, polish this part of the idea better. Or maybe include, you are telling me in a conversation with me that this point is important, but it is not there in your proposal. So highlight this point a little bit better. It will meet the questions of the technical panel for the BIRAC big grant later on. So that is where the academic training really gets into focus. But also because it faces the funding organization also. So as a result, it might be also, okay, you are not looking at your intellectual property aspect so much. Why not? And if you are not, then let me connect you with so and so colleague at CCAM, who is also from an academic background, who will understand your problem better and will try to share why you should file an FTO, for example, for your idea right now. So this is where it is. These are all opportunities at CCAM where you not only utilize your academic core, and it really does utilize your academic core, but you also really take that academic training into society. You know that you are playing a role in improving society in some way, and that is, I'm personally very glad for this opportunity that I have. And I see that every person in CCAM, every team member in CCAM is also guided by that philosophy. So I would say opportunities do exist, and we have a careers page and CCAMP that you can even just Google for and you'll find. But I would also say, because we are a growing organization, you can get in touch with any one of us really and express interest, and we can help you, find alignments going forward.
Again, once again, a motivating and promising answer. Thanks a lot, Dr. Debarshini. It has been a great pleasure interviewing you, and I'm sure all of our listeners are going to love listening to this podcast and learning a lot about CCAM. Thank you once again.
And thank you, Rohit, for the opportunity.